We're going to start with some piecewise functions today. They help us to graph different segments on the graph, and they really run just like any other function you've looked at. We just have to follow more specific rules. So you can see here in number 1, it breaks into 2 pieces. So the graph of x plus 1 for x is less than or equal to 3, and the graph of 4 for x is greater than 3. So I'll start with that because it is easier. So over here at 1, 2, 3 on the x value, the graph of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can notice that's an open circle because that's just greater than, and you're going to extend that out. Over here, we'll use the y-intercept of 1, and then we'll go up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, and then continue it down. Okay, now the real important part here is that this includes the 3, the top part right there. So if I plug in 3 plus 1, I get that 4. So that is now a filled in circle, and it has that very sharp corner there that we'll call a cusp. Okay, so you try number 2. I'm sure great job is in order. Now I'm going to show you right over here on our fancy calculator. You can see I've already pulled up a graph screen. You can do the same. And then right over here next to the book, you'll push that button, and on the top row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in, you can see it has a bracket and then 4 little boxes. You're going to type that, and I'm going to type in the second one that you did, x minus 1, comma, so that's already in there, and then you're going to do x, you get your symbols right here in the control and the equal sign. I need the less than or equal to, so over less than or equal to negative 1. Then you're just going to tab down to the bottom, and I have the function of 1, and then comma. Then we need x greater than, all right, there, greater than negative 1. It is a bummer when you get syntax, so let's see if we can figure that out. All right, apologize about the technical difficulties there. My screen is so small I couldn't see that the comma was already there, so giving it 2 commas made it pretty darn upset. So you can see here is the beautiful graph that you have done as well. Now the calculator does not show you the open circle versus closed circle, so you want to make sure that when you're graphing x is greater than negative 1 right here, that at the point negative 1, positive 1, you have an open circle. Okay, a little more excitement going on now. I have either multiple functions in there, and I have a second degree function over here. So you can come right back over here to the calculator. Let's just hit tab. Coming up here. Oopsie-days. Okay, so I'm going to show you the buttons again. Right next to the book, and it has the bar right there with the squiggle, and you can see the 4 little boxes. For example number 4, you're going to do the one that has 3 sets of boxes. So I will do 3, just show you, type it in here. So we've got x squared, and then bop over x is less than or equal to, and that is right here, going over and down to 2. And then tab to my next part, 6 minus x, and then tab once more. No need for that extra comma I was trying to put in there. X, and we're going to go greater than. There it is. There it is. The 2, and you hit enter, and oh, it's a vision. Okay, so now you will do the same thing for example number 4. Example number 5 takes a look at the absolute value graph, which we all know looks just like this, right? This is my y, this is my x. If I wanted to create this into 2 separate functions, I would stop right here at x equals 0. So I'm going to say one section would be the function x for for x is greater than 0. And I would also use the function of negative x for x is less than 0. Now, one of them is going to have to include 0, okay? That way, it's going to be a continuous function. The next example we're going to look at is when you have the piecewise already drawn and you need to create the equation. So looking at this one, I can see that it's just two nice linear functions, which I just love. We can see the breaking point is going to be at 3. So when I'm setting this up over here, I'll have y equals, draw your bracket, and I'm going to have two separate functions, and I'll have x is less than 3, and x is greater than or equal to 3, because I can see this part, the first segment, does not include the 3. So that's why I got just the less than. So taking the 2 points, I'm going to do the left segment first. Do the slope. 4 minus 2 over 1 minus 3 is 2 over negative 2. Slope of negative 1. Plug in either point. It really doesn't matter. Y value of 4. Slope of negative 1. X value of 1. Add the 1 over and you get a b value of 5. So the first part here is negative x plus 5. And now just to keep it differentiated here, going with the second set here, this segment, do my slope again. So I'll draw this one in red so that there's no confusion. 1.5 minus 0.5 and 5 minus 3 is 1 over 2. So there's the slope. And then pick either point. I'm going to pick 1.5 as the y. 1/2 times 5 plus b. So 2.5 plus b. b is going to equal negative 1. So the second part in here is 1/2 x minus 1. And that makes logical sense. The segment on the left should have a negative slope. The segment on the right should have a positive slope and a negative y-intercept. Okay. Here's one for you to try. We can go over the answers next time in class, and you can also be checking your answers right in the calculator to make sure you've got the correct segments there. Okay, number 8 and number 9, I'm going to choose to do the bottom with you so we can discuss that horizontal line one more time. So I can see that horizontal line is y equals, put a bracket in there, 3, right? And that's the line all the way up to positive 2, and it includes the positive 2, so it'll be x is less than or equal to positive 2. Then I can check out the slope of this one. I can see that I have a negative slope and that it's going down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And if I continue that up, I see, oh, that's nice. It would have a y-intercept of 0. So that means that it's the slope of negative 1/2 x, and that's for x is greater than 2. Make sure that you have that open circle right there, okay? All right, one more. Oh, I'm so sorry. Rushed you there. Please try 8, okay? Write that equation and then check on your calculator. Pause the video. And then we'll do one more. We have 3 segments here. You can see, just by looking at it, that middle one is the parent graph. So this one has 3 different segments, the parent graph of all parabolas. So I'm going to put the middle one here. It's going to be x squared. And then I can see that it's open negative 2 to positive 2, not including those 2 values. The next one I'm going to look at here, I'm going to take the horizontal line. It's the horizontal line of negative 1, and that is from x is greater than or equal to. Make sure you include that 2 right there, okay? And then the last one over here, I can see it has a slope of negative 1. If I follow it along, keep going here, it would have gone through the y-intercept of 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5. So that's negative x minus 5, and that's for x is less than or equal to negative 2. Again, you can check that on the calculator as we're using these, and there's one more example for you to try. Have a great night, and I'll see you in class.